Welcome to the next episode of Captain's Quarters Podcast. And I'm Captain William Mayhem.
And I'm Quartermaster Morin.
And I'm Navigator Davey Longwood. And now we're going to the show.
Ready? Fire in the hole. Cheers, men. Good to see you.
Hey, Captain.
Hi, Quartermaster Morin, Navigator Davey. Good to see you. This is our fifth week, our fifth episode. We're doing well.
It's fantastic.
It is. We have, 130 plus subscribers already to our YouTube channel?
We do, Captain.
And we're averaging about 200 views per episode.
Correct.
More power to all of us and all those pirates and everybody else that likes history, wanting to be a part of it. We thank everybody that's watching us tonight. Thank you.
Bye.
So, let's talk about a new part that we're going to put in this. Something we decided to do. And as I ask the question, it'll be question of the week or thought of the week. This week it's question of the week. What is your favorite pirate movie of all time? That's opened up to all our viewers now. And if you want to pop something in there, our navigator is watching what's going on. And as we go through that, let's talk about how busy a week it's been. What do you say, Mr. Quartermaster?
It's been very busy.
I know that myself and at least 7 to 8 crew members have been over in my backyard 6 to 8 hours a day. So that's 20 to 30 man hours a day for 5 days. Building our spooktacular, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. And it will be open soon. Our spooktacular is a free event for anybody that wants to come and enjoy our pirate haunt. And we'd love to have everybody come out. In fact, we have a really good video, and I say that only because, well, I'm in it. What do you think, Mr. Quartermaster? Can we pop that video up?
I, Captain, putting it on.
What was that? It's Halloween. That's what it was. And it's coming up. The St. Augustine Swashbuckler Spooktacular will be a walk through outdoor haunted pirate amazement. 5 nights only. 22 and 23. That's a Friday and Saturday night. And then the next weekend, Halloween weekend, the 29th, the 30th, and the 31st, Halloween night. Come on out. And this is one of the things that the St. Augustine Swashbucklers does to raise something for the community. You can bring pet food, which we donate to the Humane Society. You can bring human food, which is canned food that we'll give to the food banks in the area, or you can drop off a little bit of monetary donations, which we use to take care of all the other things that happen for this yard. Halloween 2021. St. Augustine Swashbucklers Spooktacular. The whole thing started in 2020 as a lark because that thing called COVID, worse than pirates, kind of got me into thinking of what we could do to really jazz up some time for people to come out and have Halloween, and we did it. And it was so successful. We're doing it again this year. We've made some changes to our haunt this year, and we hope everybody will come out and see it. And as I said, the cause is, like in the video, pet food. Last year we gave over 250 pounds of pet food to the Humane Society, and human food, about 250 pounds of human food to local food banks. So come on out. That's the only thing it costs you. And if you want to help us sponsor, you have a small business and would like to put your logo in our haunted yard, we're looking at sponsorship packages, $50 to $100 just to help us out, because there's still a few things we have to take care of. You know, some of this doesn't work unless you have batteries. I know, you gotta have them. But if you'd like to help, send us a message to swashbucklersplunder@yahoo.com. And any money that's not used, we roll it over into our Christmas project. We build a Christmas village. And then at the end of all of that, we roll it all over into our toy drive. And this is our 11th year to doing a toy drive here in St. Augustine by the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. So there you have it. Send us a message, get involved. This will be the last week we allow anybody to get involved financially. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So, it's been fun, though. It's been really fun. So, oh, wait. Is it time for one more episode of our treasure hunt?
It is, Captain.
It is.
Yep.
So what do we got? The St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum. If you come out and visit us at the Pirate Museum, we have a treasure map that you can find 12 artifacts in the museum, hidden. You don't know where they're at, and I'm not telling you. But this week, we're showing you the fourth one, Games of Chance. Ladies and gentlemen, that's an actual real dominoes set made with ivory and bone, and it's in our museum. Come out and try to find it.
There's Davy Longwood's bones in there.
Yeah, maybe that could be.
There's some old bones in there, Captain.
Old bones. Yeah, but with that face like that, nobody knows it.
Nah, that's babyface Longwood.
Davy's too young. Way too young. So we have one event we want to talk about on the horizon, and that is Ancient City Kids Day. And we're going to talk about another event later on in the event here in our episode. But for now, I just want to let everybody know that next Saturday, the 23rd, is Ancient City Kids Day. And if you look at the logo there looks like a pirate. You might know who it is. I was very flattered to have them ask me to be a part of their logo, and there it sits. So come out and see us from 11 to 3 on Saturday in Francis Field for Ancient City Kids Day, their 25th anniversary. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And I do want to let everybody know, pass it around to your friends. If you have an event, which you're going to see in just a few minutes, but if you have an event and you want to ask us to help out with your event and get the word out, we've got a great way to do it, the Captain's Quarters Podcast. And we'd like to be sharing your event with everybody we can and help you out. So send us a message at the end of the event here, at the end of our episode. You'll be able to get in touch with us in many ways. We have Instagram. We're soon to have a Facebook page and a few other things. So you can get in touch with us and let us know what we can do to help you out with your event in some way, shape, or form. That's a good thing. Don't you think so, Mr. Davey?
Aye, very good thing.
Captain,
Yes,
they could also send us
anybody sending you messages, let us know. What was that?
They could also reach us at our email address. So it's Captain's Quarters podcast21@gmail.com. You can send us an email there. And if you want to talk to us about either an episode or you want us, an event you want to sponsor or something like that, let us know. Shoot us an email there.
And we're always open to ideas on what kind of episodes, what themes we can do. Remember 3 weeks ago, we had somebody ask us, well, why don't you do an episode on superstitions of the nautical world? And we thought it was such a great thing. I've already started doing some research on it, and I found some interesting things. So send us your information or watch us and put your comments out there. We can't do it if we don't know it. I'm a magician, but I'm not a mind reader.
That's good.
So it's about time now for us to bring on some very special guests, and I say guests because I'm not using just one guest this time. I have two guests that are with us from the St. Augustine Heritage Association, and I happen to be very good friends with one of these and now good friends with the other, and we want to help them promote an event they're doing also next Saturday. That's what I said earlier. We're promoting other events. So that event is the St. Augustine Heritage Festival. So I'd like to introduce to you my good friend Jill Pacetti and my new good friend Christy Paul of the St. Augustine Heritage Association. There they are, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
I have to say this, other than Gina, these are the two loveliest ladies I've had in my studio.
The only other ladies.
That's true too. So
He has a good wife, so.
that's true. So Jill and Christy are here to help us talk about a brand new festival here in St. Augustine called the St. Augustine Heritage Festival. Before we start, though, I'm going to ask one question. Now, I already know the answer to the question, but I want it to be a great opening. Jill, you are a Pacetti.
Yes, sir.
You are an original Menorcan bloodline of St. Augustine.
Yes, sir.
Yes, and the Menorcans came here in 1777.
Correct.
And your bloodline from that time to present, and they're yours. So your Pacetti's was one of the major family names.
Yeah, we are one of about, I think, 50 or more names. I never really sat down and count them, but if anybody's interested, the cathedral downtown has the Menorcan monument in the courtyard, and all the names are listed. And my grandfather, Andre Pacetti, was the pioneer of the Mill Creek area.
Really? The
Yes.
Mill Creek area?
Yes,
Very
he
cool.
was given a Spanish land grant, as were other Menorcans and hundreds of people at that time.
So let's briefly talk about, and you can correct me, because I don't always get it right. I'm good with pirate history, and I try to be good with St. Augustine history, because I too am a native of St. Augustine. My family line goes through about 1780. So the Menorcans were originally in New Smyrna.
New Smyrna, they were brought to the New World as indentured servants to serve out a contract on an indigo plantation. And after 9 years of harsh treatment and literally starving to death, they lost more than half their colony. They came to they sent a delegate to British Governor Tunyon at the time. And that would have been in 1776, I believe. And he said, okay, go get your people, bring them here, and we'll start the colony, we'll give you some land. And it took them several months to get everyone together and to leave the plantation. And they trekked 70 plus miles to St. Augustine. And we've been here ever since.
And there weren't a lot of roads back then.
No,
There weren't a lot of roads. Now, if I know my history right, the plantations, the original owners of the plantations where they were at, they were just giving up. They weren't being successful.
Yeah, this particular one was for indigo, and there were many challenges. Tunyon was in debt up to his eyeballs. He didn't have the means. He brought over 1,400 Menorcans. He had provisions for about 500. And when they arrived, there were little straw huts built out of sticks that couldn't even survive a rainstorm, let alone a hurricane.
Wow.
And there was even a story of some privateers off the coast of New Smyrna that came in, but they didn't steal from the Menorcans because the Menorcans were poor. They didn't have any rum, but they stole from Tunyon. Not Tunyon, I'm sorry, it was, where am I drawing that one? Turnbull, the Scottish physician who was the owner of the plantation. So they stole rum from him and his workers that were like his people that worked closely with him. And really couldn't find much from the Menorcans because they ate hominy grits every day. And it was pretty poor place, you know. But then they left with what they had, privateers.
And then starts the heritage, and I'm using the word heritage, of the Menorcans in St. Augustine. And one of the best things that I like about it all is the food.
Yes.
Menorcan food. But let's not do that, because that'll make me hungry. Let's talk about your festival, the St. Augustine Heritage Festival. This is the first one.
Right.
And both of you are co-chairing this entire festival.
Yes.
And because it's the first one, I bet you're finding out there's all kinds of challenges, isn't there?
Yeah, it's
Just a few.
It's not been too bad, I think, and I'm nothing against men, but us women, we have our stuff together, you know. We are very organized, and we've had a lot of great reenactors who have stepped up and said, sure, we'll be there, and we decided on food trucks, a little bit easier to manage than trying to get people out there.
I've learned that lesson myself.
Yeah, so food trucks are a great thing. Everyone loves those. We stuck with heritage food trucks. We have a Menorcan food truck called Local Pride. And then we have a British one called...
And it's Captain Scallywags.
Captain Scallywags.
And a lot of his food is all pirate names and pirate affiliated.
Yep, we know of him.
So
Yep.
he's gonna be there, and then we have a Southern American, like your collards, mac and cheese, and then the hippo, and then just for fun, for dessert, we have the hippo, which is very popular.
And they're very popular all through St. Augustine.
Yes. Yeah, started in St. Augustine.
So,
And now they're all over Florida. So
so you can see on our screen, we have the date and the time, 11 to 3 on the 23rd, out at Trout Creek Memorial Park and Marina. Tell us about that location. Why did you choose that location?
well, kind of how this all started was that I was talking to Commissioner Jeremiah Blocker, and I brought up to him the fact that there was not anything like Menorcan heritage related, like a proclamation of Menorcan Heritage Month. And he agreed that, wow, how come that's never happened? Because, everywhere you look in St. Johns County, there's something with the Menorcan name, whether it be Pacetti or Michelers or Uzina, and the list goes on. And so he said, we really need to get that done. So I called Jill up and I said, guess what's happening? You'll never believe it. There's going to be a proclamation for October to be Menorcan Heritage Month. And there is already a Menorcan Heritage Festival every year. There's already a Greek festival every year. So we said, you know what? What about the property over at Trout Creek? We knew that they wanted to do some things out that way. We like the idea of doing things out, that way. It's a beautiful property, lots of space. So we said, now that we have this proclamation, let's call Trout Creek and see what happens. And you talked about the fact that this is our first year and all of the obstacles. And to be honest, I don't want to jinx anything, but it has gone so smooth. We called Trout Creek up. We said we want to do an annual festival. We want to include all, heritage. Let's combine all the festivals into one. And immediately they said, yes, we love the idea. We just needed to have a permit. We needed to have insurance. And we need to have potties. And so we called portable outhouses. They said, this is your first one. We're going to donate the portable outhouses.
Yes, that would have been the biggest expense.
Yes.
It is.
Captain,
Yeah.
real quick, if you don't mind, sorry. Can you check on the back of the mic? The gain is a little too high, and we're getting a lot of feedback on it. Just if you can lower the gain.
Absolutely. But I have to put on my specs because I can't see the thing.
Yeah, it's in the back. You'll see it. Yeah, lower the gain.
How's that?
Hello?
A little bit more.
That's as low as it's going to go.
As low as it's going?
Can you move it back up here where it was?
No. You're good. You're good. There you go.
Good? All right.
Yep. That's good.
All right.
Thank you. Sorry for the interruption.
Probably the game got changed when we moved some furniture around the other day, trying to
No.
Hi, Captain.
dog-proof the floor for some of our listeners.
So we had pretty much all of the donations we have are people donating certain services like the porta potties, and we had a check come in from Melissa Owen with Endless Summer, and that paid for our permit, and then our insurance is paid for because we got a donation from Spanish Made Antiques, which we'll talk about them a little bit later. BNS Signs said, it's your first one, we'll donate the sign, the banner.
Oh, and I saw the banner too on Facebook.
Yeah, the banner that we have out there, very nice banner. And so it really has come together so well, like we can't even believe that. I think the worst thing that's happened is we put out some signs and, with less than 24 hours, some of them have already been removed.
The sign police came and took our signs.
So I think that's probably the worst thing that's happened so far. So
Yeah.
if things go as well Saturday as they have been, we're looking at having a really great festival.
Now, it's a free event,
Great.
It is.
but you have raffles.
We
We
do.
do.
So what is the purpose or what is the direction of the money that you make after you pay for everything?
Okay. Well, the first raffle that we decided to hold, we invited, like Christy said, we were very fortunate and blessed to have a lot of people donate services. Well, when you have traffic, you have to have someone directing parking. And my son is a St. Johns County Sheriff's Office Explorer. He's in the program. And they do a lot of the events here in town where people realize that they give up their services. And so I wanted to give back to their program because it's such a wonderful program.
Right.
But we didn't have any funds. So Spanish Main Antique said, hey, we will donate either a pair of coin earrings, beautiful, authentic shipwreck coin earrings.
1715? Do you know?
I'm not sure of the year.
Okay.
Or you could get a beautiful fishhook pendant with a shipwreck coin inside. And we have a picture of those on our Facebook page. And all of the proceeds for that raffle goes to the St. Johns County Explorer program. And we've already sold over $200 worth of tickets to that. So that's a big deal for them. The tickets are $5 a piece or 5 for $20. And then we have another raffle, which a Menorcan cousin, Byron Capot, he donated an award-winning photograph of the Menorcan monument that sits in the plaza at the cathedral.
Very cool.
And it is gorgeous.
Mhm.
The picture is also on our Facebook page. And then the other item is Captain Shadow from I always want to say Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's from the Matanzas Bay Buccaneers. And Mike Castellino, he's been a longtime friend of ours, and he took up painting in his retirement years. And so he donated.
Yeah, he's donated several paintings to the St. Augustine swashbucklers that we use.
Yeah, really generous. So we have 3, and then the last 2 raffles, what we'll use the proceeds for is if we have any other expenses that come up between now and then. And then whatever's left, then next year, like Christy mentioned, it's going to be an annual event, and we're going to have
You're just
20
gonna roll the
expenses.
money
We'll
over.
roll it.
in.
Yeah, so some really good raffles. The same thing with the price, $5 a ticket or 5 for $20.
But the event itself is free.
The event itself is free. The only thing you need to do is if you want to eat some really good food,
Support the food truck,
support the food trucks.
which is
We
always
would
a
love-
good thing.
Absolutely. There will be some heritage-based vendors there. We have
Junior, that's gonna have daddle
the
sauce.
daddle sauce.
Terry
And where does
London,
daddle peppers come from?
St. Augustine.
Menorcan.
And Menorcan. Yeah, we love our daddle.
And
I have a plant out in my backyard, and it keeps
Yeah.
giving me more and more peppers. So.
Good
Yeah,
peppers.
so good. So we'll have 2 booths, one with some Menorcan daddle sauce, and then one that has daddle jelly. And that's the 2 Terrys. Terry that has that one. And Junior has the sauce. And then some salads that'll be sold there as well. Do we have any other?
He made, so we have Spanish made
Rick-
antiques.
Mm-hmm.
Spanish made antiques going to be there, and ancient city metal detectors.
Oh, very cool.
I know they're not really like a heritage base, but ancient city metal detectors kind of ties in with Spanish antiques. So we want to find some
And
good
Indian,
Spanish
and he
treasure.
has some
He has some Timotlan
things
yeah.
too that he has, and then Randy Cribs with the
Yes,
the book
he's a
that
local
he wrote,
author.
a local author that will be coming.
Yeah, he
and
writes
so
several
some
books about St. Augustine.
So next year,
Mhm.
we, St. Augustine swashbucklers would like to be involved.
And we would love to have you.
And I can probably provide you with even a few more authors who've written books about it.
Nice.
Oh,
So that would be
cool. That
really
would be
cool.
People
great.
love that.
But I'm sure there's other things that we can do
Mhm.
also. My traveling museum would be a lot of fun.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum would be a sponsor of that to
Good.
bring us into that.
Oh, great.
You're welcome.
great.
You're
So
welcome.
for 2022, you're already on
Hey,
the road.
we're getting the list ready.
That's it. You're
We
already on the
just
road.
need sponsors with some money to make sure that this can keep going
Yeah.
on. That's the only thing.
And we want to let's make a clarification here. This is a heritage festival. This is not a history festival.
Right.
We're talking when we're talking heritage, we're talking about the families that are part of St. Augustine that have their heritage, their family line has brought something to St. Augustine to make St. Augustine what it is.
Mhm.
And that's the most important thing that we need to tell people. St. Augustine is a huge conglomeration of people
Mhm.
that have done so much. And being the oldest continually inhabited city in the entire continent of North America, well, at least the United States, there is so much here that is history,
Mhm.
but it's separated from the heritage of what these families have brought. My family has been a part of St. Augustine history since around the 1780s, 1790s, but I'm actually related to the Carleton family, and Doyle Carleton was the governor of Florida in the first, I think, 1910 to 1913, somewhere in there. Don't have my dates completely on it, but that's heritage. And having an uncle that's a governor, he's passing laws, he's setting things up, and he's creating the heritage of Florida.
Sure.
So the same with the Pacetti family, the Usinas,
Mhm.
Michael.
the
And we have the
Micklers.
Micklers and
Nobody gets that name
those-
pronounced right.
Micklers.
That's how you know if someone's
Yeah.
That's
from here
true.
or not. But we have, Las Floridinas is coming. So when we say heritage, we start with the Timotlan Indian tribe,
Right.
and then we have the Spanish and the British and the Gullah Geechee, and a lot of people don't know much about the
actually, when I was
Gucci.
telling Davy and Quartermaster Morin, and I said, and the Gulagichis, and they looked at me and I went,
Don't know.
I don't know either. Actually, I truly don't know 100% about the Gulagichis. So it'll be something to learn if you
Yes.
go to this festival.
Yes,
Something
that's
else to
exactly
learn.
right.
Right.
And the inclusive dates, this is the history part of it. The inclusive dates are the Timucuan Indians, which is pre-1500,
Sure.
to, you go into
1821, when St. Johns County became a county.
Mhm.
so there you have it. That's a long time. You're looking at 300 years of history and heritage.
Uh-huh.
So it's a very, very cool thing. Do we happen to have any good questions from our watchers? Or Mr. Morin, do you have a question you'd like to ask them?
I actually do have a question, Captain. The St. Augustine Heritage Association, when was it first established? And then what do you foresee the future of that association becoming?
Okay, well, so when Christy and I started the festival, in order to get some respect and some sponsors and donors, we said, like it or not, we're going to have an association. And we really wanted to educate people. And that's really our mission and goal moving forward, is to educate people on the rich and diverse heritage of St. Augustine, because it's very diverse. And, just more education, holding these festivals, maybe attending some other festivals as our association grows, because we will be looking for members. We hope to grow the association just like your pirate club. You want more people to be involved, and they can bring more things to it.
The more people you have in a group, the less work everybody has to do.
That's right.
And that's very important. We know that in our swashbucklers and any pirate crew. You have a good nucleus of people that will do the work.
Right.
Then you have others that won't.
Right.
So there it is. Mr. Longwood, do you have a question for these lovely ladies, or do you have something that's popped up on the screen already?
Well, that too, but I have a question. Since the Heritage Festival takes place different time periods, what is your favorite time period in St. Augustine history?
Well,
Chief,
I know what Jill's going to say.
I can answer that. I don't even have to worry about it. I can answer that one. I'm a mind reader. But go ahead.
Well, of course, my family coming to St. Augustine. I mean, had they not come to St. Augustine and would have given up, we wouldn't be here.
True.
So,
And the Menorcan history is really rich and deep in St. Augustine. It
it's
really
very interesting to learn. I learn more and more and more about the Menorcans every day. Really, I do. There's, my grandfather, who originally came to New Smyrna, Andre Pacetti, when they made their way to St. Augustine and they were given Spanish land grants, hundreds of Spanish land grants were given, and he was given over 600 acres out of the Mill Creek area. Well, people today, unless you've lived here for a while, if you've just transplanted to St. Johns County in the last, say, 15, 20 years, you really don't know what Mill Creek is. You say, oh, that's World Golf Village, but Mill Creek area, what Andre Pacetti pioneered, who grew that area.
And there's actually 20,000 Menorcans that are still in St. Johns County today. And Captain Mayhem, he was talking before we started the podcast about his family, and he touched on a little bit just now. And he said he's not Menorcan, but probably he has some family that married into Menorcan. And that's kind of what happened when you look at all of the heritage that is coming in a part of our festival. They're kind of all Menorcan in some way, because they have some, they've married to each other.
There's a
the
bloodline.
Menorcans, the Menorcans came during the British period when the Spanish were here, and so when they all got married and have gotten married, there's a lot of people who have Menorcan blood in them, even if they're Spanish. And the Greeks came at the same time. Italian, they're also Italian, and so I think that's probably the biggest one that it's known for, and that's why we had the Menorcan Heritage Proclamation, is because of the name recognition. When Jill spoke, and even when they did the proclamation, all the names that were listed are very familiar names, even to people who moved to St. Augustine yesterday. They would have been saying, oh, I've heard that name before, and probably don't even know it's Menorcan or knows what Menorcan is.
Right.
And so bring all that back, and because that's why St. Augustine is the longest continuous city in the United States, is because of that heritage.
Right.
So if someone wants to get involved with the association, how would they contact you? So our viewers will know. How can they get a hold of you?
We have an email address.
We do. Our Facebook page is up and running. We've got close to 1,000 followers already. So we've done really well since just the end of July. And if you're hearing that little tune, that's my alarm going off. I'm really sorry. So the Facebook page, we will, at the festival, be signing up members. And then otherwise you can contact us through the Facebook page. And we do have an email address that is on the Facebook page. We do not have a website yet, but we'll be working on that.
Okay.
It looks like there might be a Ransom Mayhem asking a question about buying tickets. The only tickets that you would buy is for the raffle, and that we have a PayPal account, and so we will make sure that that's posted. And we do have a bunch of posts. And so we see that Ransom Mayhem. That's a cool name. So we do have a PayPal account. You can go to Spanish Main Antiques and buy raffle tickets. You can come to the festival and buy raffle tickets, or you can buy them through PayPal, and we'll definitely have that posted. We can probably post a link to this.
If you scroll through the Facebook page, you'll find the raffle items. But Christy's right. We're going to put the link.
And
at
we
the top
can probably
of the page.
put a link
Quartermaster.
under this too, right?
Okay.
Put their poster for their event with the date and time again back up there. That way we can make sure everybody sees that and know what they need to do to be a part of what we're doing. And we will make sure that we add some extra contact information along the way. Thank you, Quartermaster. That was a good shot.
Hi, Captain.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, sneaky, right? So I had a question, and then, I know. Here's my question. Has nothing to do with the Heritage Festival. It has everything to do with your family. Sam Pacetti.
Yes.
I know Sam.
And we're
He's
cousins.
Your cousins.
We're
That's what I
cousins.
wanted to know. He's a great musician.
Oh, he's wonderful.
He's a wonderful musician.
Yeah.
We're good friends. I think we've even done a couple of events together.
He's a great.
And so he's your cousin.
He is.
First cousin, second cousin, 20th, 23rd cousin.
Okay, so his father and mother are descendants. So we're all from the same grandfather, Domingo, which is like our fourth grandfather. And I guess his parents would even be cousins, not aunts and uncles.
Right.
So maybe like first cousin, third time removed, or second time removed.
It may not happen to you, but it happens to me. Once in a while, I'm doing an event in St. Augustine, and I'll have people come up to me and go, "I'm your cousin," and I have no idea who they are.
Yeah.
It happens not often anymore, but once in a while, I'll have people come up. Oh yeah, we're related. Oh, cool. I actually had that happen with me about 2 weeks ago, two months ago, and it was somebody that was related to me by my father's brother's son, and they were in St. Augustine, and I'd never met him before, and they were told, go see your cousin over at, and he came to the Pirate Museum with his family, and they came, and so we invited him out to the house that night, and we had dinner at the house and sat around the campfire. It's really, that's one of the cool things about St. Augustine. So many of us are related.
So a funny story, and I don't know if it happened to you, how many cousins you have in St. Augustine, St. Johns County, but when my dad was in high school at St. Augustine High, and he would come home and announce he had a girlfriend, right away his parents would say, "What's her name?" Because you had to make sure that you weren't too closely related.
That's true. That's very true.
But I do have two Pacetti cousins that are married, but their children are normal. There must be a far enough bloodline.
Yes.
You got a question there from Ransom.
Will this event be held the same date every year? We actually kind of touched on that. You said that you might want to, we're going to do it in October.
It's always going to be in October.
We're going to find the best time.
We're going to find the best date because, like this year, it is on the same day as Ancient City Kids Day, and we really did try to find a date that
that's impossible nowadays.
And it's very, very.
So I'll give you a hint. Ransom Mayhem is actually my brother, and he's in Panama City.
Oh, nice. Well, come from Panama City.
So
and see us
don't
next week.
pick Columbus weekend. Because if you pick Columbus weekend, they have a big pirate festival over there. The city,
Okay.
Panama City Beach has a big pirate festival.
Okay.
Pirates of the High Seas.
Gotcha.
And they haven't done it the last 2 years because of COVID, but
Mhm.
we've provided, with the help of Quartermaster Moran and Mr. Davey there, we provided videos and they do a virtual weekend.
Okay.
So don't pick
cool.
Columbus weekend if you can
Okay.
help it,
Yeah,
because
we can totally.
we won't be there.
We'll probably do it around the same time. We wanted to do it because everything happened so fast, and we knew we needed to do it in October because it was gonna correlate with the
Well, you're-
market.
So here's a question, and you may have already thought about it, and it may actually be a really knuckleheaded idea, but you're doing it as an afternoon of 11 to 3. It's an afternoon
Mhm.
event.
Right.
Have you thought that a Sunday wouldn't be a bad time to do it?
With that, or even doing it in the evening. The reason we didn't do it in the evening is because we knew that this time of year it starts to get a little bit darker
Right.
earlier. But and it's our first year, and so we weren't quite sure. But we've also thought about maybe doing, because a lot of things happen like in the morning, like Ancient City Kids Day, and so like our events are both at the same exact time. So we were even balancing around the ideas of maybe doing a little like a late afternoon, early evening time as well. And because that's kind of fun, and I mean, Ninda's being
So if
there
I
and
throw this
stuff.
idea to you, you know, box lunches, box socials were a big thing back in the day, where the ladies would bring a box lunch and then the guys would make bids on it. That's
Mhm.
heritage.
Yeah.
Mhm,
It might be a way to incorporate a Sunday afternoon for you.
mhm.
That's true.
But
And we've also thought of, as moving forward, making it longer, maybe do Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
It just depends on how
It's going to
big
be
it
a
is.
huge event, so it's
Yeah.
probably going to turn out to be a 2-day and even a Friday night, Saturday,
Well-
because we want to keep it at the same venue. That's really important to us. We've already talked to
Right.
Trout Creek. It's going to be an annual. So if it grows too big for that area, we're either going to make the hours longer or we might make it a couple of days. So we have a lot of room.
well, we
to-
do Old City Pirate Festival. We did Old City Pirate Festival 16, 17, 18, and 19. And obviously we couldn't do it in 20 and 21. We use the grounds of the Colonial Quarter. So we're getting ready to do 2022.
Mhm.
But after 4 years of doing it as a 2.5-day
Mhm.
event, we're scaling back to ease back into it again.
Sure.
And so what we're doing is a 2-night event, Friday night, Saturday night of that last week in January for our event. So there's always ways around
Sure.
to make your festival good for as many people as you can get to come to
Absolutely.
it. There's always ways around it. So,
Hey,
but
Kev,
we'd like to. I know we'll support it. What do we have? We have another
Yeah,
one.
Your favorite historic site in the city. I saw that, and I think the easiest answer for me that comes to mind is the fort. I enjoy going to the fort. My nephews come to St. Augustine every year and have since they were 2 and 4 years old, and I think we always go to the fort. And the cannons firing off, and just seeing how the soldiers slept there, and the history. I always joke that if something bad ends up happening, go to the fort, because
Right.
it's never been overtaken in any war before. And I'm like, that's gonna be the safest place in the world. So I shouldn't give away my secret, but I'm like, I'm going to the
She's
fort.
going to the
with me.
fort.
Well,
Well, I've got that news for you. You're not the only one with that secret. No, the fort was completed in 1695.
Uh-huh.
That's over 300 years ago, and she's right. It has never fallen in battle in any way, shape, or form. It's been traded off, but
Mhm.
it's never fallen in battle, and it's withstood attacks by pirates, attacks by the British, and storms and hurricanes.
Kev, that's
Yeah,
why
The
we
story
are.
of the fort, how the fort came to be in St. Augustine.
Somewhat.
Okay, so I'm also part of the St. Augustine royal family because, well, I'm part of their entourage. I was never one of the trio members. But if you're of Minorcan or British descent, you can be part of the royal trio. Otherwise, anyone could be part of the entourage. And the royal family will be at our Heritage Festival as well. Queen Mariana and King Carlos II, her son, who took over the reign when the father passed away at a young age, she commissioned to have the fort built. And that was the 3rd or 4th fort that we had in St. Augustine because
It was
Drake,
the Castillo is the 10th fort.
the 10th fort. Okay,
We
so
lost
we
9
had several.
forts.
Yeah, so they finally got it right with the Coquina.
And they did. And the way it actually happens is in 1668, Robert Searles attacks the city of St. Augustine and pretty much messes St. Augustine up and destroys their ninth fort. Wooden forts up to this time in 103 years. But from 1668 to 1672, that's the time frame it took for the city to request the aid of the Queen
Okay.
to commission and agree and come up with the plans and the money and everything for the fort. That's why the fort wasn't started until 1672. But Robert Searles, his attack on St. Augustine, is pretty much the focal point of why we needed a real fort here.
A real one.
A real one.
Yeah.
And so they get the permission because this is a Spanish city. Pardon me. And a lot of people don't understand this, but because this was a Spanish city under Spanish law back then,
Yeah, you had to go to the king.
you had to go to the king or the queen or the royal family. And they had,
Bureaucracy existed way back then.
absolutely, and they had to give their
Even worse.
blessing. And so they gave their blessing, and the fort was started in 1672. When I have children that come into the, pardon me, I need another spot of rum.
Medicinal purposes.
When I have children come into the Pirate Museum, we talk about the fort. If I ask the child how old they are, and let's just say the child's 10 years old, and I say, okay, so in 1668 you're 10 years old. By the time the city's given permission to build the fort, you're now 14 years old. By the time the fort is done, you're now 37 years old.
Yeah.
And putting the children and the families into that time frame so they understand,
Yeah,
because the fort, most of the time, the fort is just a paragraph in a history book.
sure.
It's
Mhm.
like the Minoan history.
Sure.
It's a paragraph. It's a page.
Mhm.
We need to immerse people into the history and say, yes, 1672 to 1695. And people go, okay. But when they understand that they're 23 years older by the time the fort is done, it wakes people up and they understand more. So that's the best part about teaching history.
Yeah.
So we got any other questions there?
Well, Jill didn't answer that one. Do you have a favorite?
Well,
Oh, that's true.
mine's not any actual location. It's really St. George Street is my favorite area of downtown, or at least it used to be. Growing up, they called that the Restoration area. And my dad and mom met there. My mom was in high school in CPS, and my dad was 20, and he was down there restoring the colonial quarters, Spanish quarters.
Spanish Quarter back then.
Spanish Quarter. They had to restore everything even back then in the late 60s to time period,
So do you remember when St. George Street was a street you could drive on?
yes. Yeah, when we would go down to church, we would park there, and one day my mother and her best friend both competed on who was having the most children. I'm the oldest of 7. Susan had 9 children. So we were big Catholic families. We'd go to cathedral on Sundays, and Susan was driving that particular Sunday. She had a big station wagon, and one of her children opened the door, and somebody drove by and took the door off. So yes, we remember when St. George Street, you could drive down there. But that's really where I have a lot of memories, just going down to St. George Street, walking around. I went to CPS also, and we'd walk down and, get ice cream. And so.
I think that what he asked, if I'm not mistaken, the Indian chief Geronimo was held there,
In the
but also Osceola
Osceola
was
was.
there, and his head is supposedly somewhere here in Moultrie Creek area or burial site or something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Off of, not Moultrie, Old Moultrie area.
I'm not sure how much credibility that story
Right.
truly has.
There's a lot of stories. There's even one of our Menorcan descendants who actually reached across the table and shot him in the head because he would not give up
Oh, sorry.
the information.
Wow, that's an interesting one. See,
Yeah,
There's a lot of stories.
but
about
I think there is a burial marker somewhere back off of Moultrie.
There may be.
But yeah,
Dayton,
Yes.
off of Wildwood.
yeah. Well,
so
that's
I
it,
always
yeah.
tell people when I do some of the tours in the museum that St. Augustine has a real uniqueness to it. And I ask people, have you ever heard of the game 7 Ways to Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
Are
if
you
were to,
7?
no,
Away from
if you were to take any
He likes bacon, but not
I like
way.
bacon and rum,
Aye.
but if you were to take that same concept and pick any historical event in the United States of America, within 7 steps, you may be able to relate it back to St. Augustine,
It's
Florida.
true. It's
Yeah.
true.
I
A
believe
couple of
so.
years ago, when I was in Charleston, South Carolina, and doing the historical stuff, they were talking more about St. Augustine than anything else. And I'm like, I already know all this history. I live there. I came to hear about Charleston, South Carolina, but it was very cool. You know, the correlations, even, I mean, Revolutionary War and everything, and the part that St. Augustine played in so much history, that if you go anywhere else in the United States to hear about their history, there's going to be something
Some connection.
that's about St. Augustine. And
There
I
is.
always say, if it didn't happen in St. Augustine, it didn't happen. We had the first Thanksgiving, right?
That's right.
We had
Absolutely.
the first
4th of July too.
and the first St. Patrick's Day
Yeah.
was
That's
here.
right.
You know,
Yeah.
so I always say, if it didn't happen here, it never happened.
I mean, you have historically famous people: Geronimo, Osceola, Ray Charles.
Yes.
Yes.
Ray Charles.
We've had several presidents of the United States here.
Mhm.
Al Capone has
Mhm.
come here.
Mhm.
Even, believe it or not, Frank James, Jesse and Frank James.
Yeah?
Frank James
Oh,
came here to
wow.
St. Augustine too.
Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Ralph Waldo
in the
Emerson.
plaza wrote a poem about a Menorcan. It was-
Frederick Douglass.
Yeah. See?
I mean-
And the author of The Yearling, she had a
Marjorie
home here,
Raleigh.
Marjorie
Yes.
Raleigh
So
was
we've
the home.
had, this city is full of
Yeah.
history that
Mhm.
outshines a lot of other cities because it all started here.
Right.
That's
It all started here.
Any other good questions before we move on?
We might have family that's watching, or friends that are watching. Maybe they'll pop up with a question
Hey.
for us.
What do we got? Anything, Mr. Quartermaster? Look at that. There it is. Now everyone's craving bacon and a breakfast soup. And I know exactly who that was that said that. So I expect breakfast tomorrow morning.
Oh.
There you go.
Hey, Dunkin' Donuts sells sacks of bacon.
Do they really?
Oh, yes, they do
Oh.
have some this morning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you know what's really good with bacon? Daddle pepper honey.
Ah.
Oh.
Daddle pepper
What
honey.
doesn't taste good with something daddle
And
pepper?
in
Daddle.
fact, I have a couple of jars of daddle pepper honey, and daddle pepper honey is great in coffee also.
Honey.
Oh.
Why was I not
I don't
aware of
know.
honey?
You need to get on
I
board
need-
You
here.
don't have
Honey.
daddle pepper
Never
honey?
had honey.
I have daddle pepper honey.
All right, where'd you?
Wow.
That's up.
All right, I'll see where if I got an extra jar.
I make in my cabinet now, except for my son did raid all the jelly and gave it away, but I have daddle jelly. I have a lot of the sauce. I have daddle mustard.
So I'm going to throw this one out on the air. I've often talked to like Dog Rose Brewery. I have friends over there, a couple of the breweries in town, and I still have yet. I just can't believe nobody has done a daddle pepper beer yet.
That would be kind of like.
What's that, Quartermaster?
That sounds nasty.
I don't. Really,
Look,
That's probably why they haven't done it.
There's a beer out of Cave Creek, Arizona called pepper beer, chili beer, and they brew it, and they only bottle it. You can't get it in kegs. They only bottle it, and every bottle has a chili pepper dropped into the bottle. It is spicy hot. It is very, very good, and it's even wonderful if I happen to like this. I like my beer and tomato juice. And with its spiced beer and tomato juice, it's like a beer Bloody Mary. And it's really good. So
I'm
Okay.
a Bloody Mary guy. So
you can get that.
now a
So
daddle pepper Bloody Mary.
a daddle pepper Bloody Mary would be very good.
that I will do.
Yes, that would be very
And
good.
Hippo, who's coming to our event, has the strawberry daddle popsicle.
They do.
It's really good.
I've had it.
Yeah.
You like it?
I like it because it's kind of like it's cool on your tongue and then it's warm in your throat and it's just kind of it's just I like strawberry.
I liked it. I wouldn't turn down a free one, but I'm a pirate, so you know.
Yeah.
So, any other questions we got coming up, Mr. Quartermaster? I've got a couple of ideas up.
Okay,
Ready?
go.
We're going to ask this question: how can we help you with this year besides what we're doing right now? What can we do?
Well,
Advertisement.
Advertisement?
Yeah,
Definitely
advertisement.
advertisement. Get the word out. we've gotten, you know, a lot of people views on our association site that's advertising the festival. We've had a lot of people saying they've heard about it. So I know for one, we'd be getting the word out, advertising. I don't know, were you about to say
No, I was
something
going
else?
to say, yeah, the advertising, doing what we're doing now. This is great. We appreciate it.
And letting people know this is an annual event, because we've also run into people say, oh, this sounds great, but we're out of town, or like you already are booked doing something else. And so they can be aware that, hey, you didn't miss out. Next year, we're doing this. And the year after, I mean, this is an annual thing. So anyone who wants to be a part of this that can't be a part of it now can attend next year or be a part of it. You know, we're accepting vendors that are heritage related, and we talked about that. Heritage is culture, religion, food. What is your family line? Like where as far as your family did you come here? And so anybody that falls into that category that wants to come and be a vendor or be a part of this, then you know, we just want this to grow.
I just thought of another question. What entertainment you gonna have? Are you gonna have any?
Minimum
The
Menendez.
the reenactors are going to entertain us. We have Minna Menendez. They will be here, and they're going to be doing some demonstrations of some of their flintlocks and things like that.
We have the first female mayor of St. Augustine is coming to do an introduction
Who's that?
as well. I'd have to
Now
look.
I put you
I
on the
think
spot
you
on
know.
that one.
I think you probably know.
Marie,
I don't know because it's a very long.
But are you gonna
name,
have any? Are you gonna have any music or anything else this year, or are you planning for that down the road?
Well, to be honest, Captain, when we decided to do this, we decided to do this at the end of July.
Right.
Okay. And so we said, what is the farthest date out in October? We got to do in October because of the proclamation. We didn't want to do it Halloween weekend. So we said, let's do the farthest date in October that's not Halloween. And so when we first mentioned this, we had 2 months, 3 months, really 2 months. So we said, it's really going to be small. There's not going to be much to it. And we just want to have a first year just to do it. Now is the time we've got to get it done. And once we have one, then we can grow from there. So the fact that it's as big as it is, with the Minna Menendez coming and doing several reenactments, the vendors that we have, the food trucks that we have, it's gone above what we imagined that this festival was going to be this year. So we are thrilled about that. And we've had so many people, you know, even saying you want to donate this or that for a raffle. And so it's helping us as well. And so we are going to grow this into something. She wants to have a country music singer come, and I'm down with that myself. You know, I'm like, that sounds. But you know, we want to keep it though very heritage oriented at the same time and very.
Well, then
pure.
consider
So,
the idea that you might want to have some people that come out that play sea shanties and nautical music.
I
So
think
that
that's
would
a great
fit right
idea.
in that time frame.
I think that would be a great idea.
And there are some people within my circles that I can ask if they're
That would be
available,
great.
and that's a good thing to do.
That's great. Yes, absolutely. Because we have nowhere to go but to grow it, and we want
Absolutely.
this to grow. And like we said, for planning this and the 2 months that we did, and everything falling into place like it has for this festival is going to be really good. It really is. I can just tell. But to know that it's going to get much better, you know, after this year, and we're going to bring on more things like that.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all about this festival after the fact, since I can't be there. I do have 2 of my crewmates that we've asked to maybe go to your event to represent us.
Okay, great.
So they may go and represent us at your event,
Wonderful.
so that we can give you more representation from the St. Augustine Squash Club besides
That'd
just
be
tonight.
great.
And
So-
one of our viewers just bailed me out with do you guys, are you able to see Mrs.
First female mayor, thank
Yes.
you. Oh, yes.
Petroglow?
Yes.
Yep, she's gonna come and do.
Thank you, Donna. Donna's a great historian. She knows her stuff.
And she's a school teacher here in St.
Yes.
Augustine, or a
Yes.
retired school teacher. She's a member of my crew.
Yes, Donna's awesome.
And she's
And
actually.
she graduated high school with Jill.
With me?
Yeah.
Donna Bogus. Oh, wait, different Donna. Are we talking about the same Donna?
No, I'm not sure, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Well, hello, classmate. Why did I know that? Is it a different last name?
No.
No. All right.
Uh-oh.
You know,
Well, there we go.
You say you'll never forget, and then you get over
That's
50, you forget.
She
I apologize.
just schooled both of us. Thank you very much.
There
With
you
me on
go.
the first female mayor, Jill, on who she went to school with. I would never forget any of the people I went to school with.
Captain, I
That's-
volunteer for.
You graduated high school, what, 10 years ago?
That's
Like
what I'm saying.
five
Five
years.
You know,
years.
you
Yeah,
think
yeah,
you'll never forget, and then you do.
No,
Captain,
I noticed the other day for high school reunion with me, it's my 50th, I think.
Mm.
So,
hey, Cap, I just want to say that I want to volunteer for next year, and Davey as well, where we're both going to go and we're going to taste the food of all the vendors before you guys put them out.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I will tell you one of the things we could do. I can put this out there without asking my two partners for this.
Oh.
We would like to put a Captain's Quarters podcast booth out there
Next year.
Yeah.
next year.
That'd be
Because
great.
what we do is we have a booth, we bring the cameras and we set everything in, then we
Mhm.
just ask people to come in and tell us whatever the theme is. Say your favorite history of St. Augustine or whatever else, and
Oh, that would be
we
cool.
conglomerate it together and then we use it for other
Mhm.
publications.
Great.
It might actually give us publication footage, video footage that you can
Nice.
use also.
Yeah.
Nice.
So we,
Absolutely.
we'd like to do that, right, Quartermaster?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that'll be great. It will be fantastic to be able to do that.
Food, he'll do whatever.
That's right.
Mhm.
We're
Hey,
going to need celebrity judges next year.
well,
We're
look
gonna
at
have-
that.
We're going
I'm
to
in.
have a contest
The
for.
Captain's Quarters podcast, judging the food.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're going to have we wanted to do it this year, but we ran out of time and resources. We wanted to have people enter a daddle pepper contest where we had different categories like desserts and main dishes
Sauces and
sauces
jellies.
So next year we're going to get on the ball and get that, and then
Make sure we wear our big pants, our expanding pants, our expanding pirate pants. And Ade will eat everybody under the table. So
Thanks, Cap.
I make a creamy chocolate cupcake with daddle dust in it. And, ooh, it is good.
6'2". I need a lot of food.
there you go.
Yes.
Well, we're looking
Good
forward
excuse.
to it. You know what we need to do? Because I'm looking at the timer.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a wonderful time this evening with our lovely guests for
Where's
the
the
St. Augustine
time?
Heritage
Yes.
Festival. What's that?
So
Where's
where
the
did
time
go?
gone?
Hey.
Yeah.
But we do need to do a couple of things here. So let's do this. One of the first things we need to do towards the end of our every episode is to make sure that we remind people how to find us. Navigator Davey.
Aye. So, www.instagram.com/Captain's Quarter Podcast and www.youtube.com/Captain Quarters Podcast. And I'm so excited about this. Captain's Quarter Podcast private Facebook page is coming soon, hopefully by next week.
Yep.
Now that we're calling it a private page because that's only going to be allowable for our subscribers and our followers, correct?
Correct.
We're
Correct.
not going to open it to the public.
No, they'll have to come in and
Go ahead.
there'll be obviously behind the scene contents and stuff like that that only our subscribers and our members to our crew, we call them our crew, the podcast family, they'll be allowed to come in and then see all those things. So they'll get advanced when we're putting out products, t-shirts, stuff like that. They'll see everything in advance.
Between myself and the Quartermaster and the Navigator, we have sat up for hours past midnight dreaming up all these great ideas for merchandising for what we can do. Some of it based on our cartoon characters. So we've had cartoon characters made of us already.
Yeah, we've posted
So-
that.
So it's really kind of cool. So next week, we've got a really great show planned for next week. And every week we have a different theme. We're not just dealing with pirate history here. We're talking about all of the different things we can do. And Jan Rapp with the Ghostly Encounters is going to be here. And how appropriate. A week before Halloween, we're going to talk about ghosts in St. Augustine. And I always like to tell people that with a city that's over 400 and some odd years old, there's got to be ghosts here. And Jan is one of the premier ghost tour guides here in St. Augustine. And she'll be here with us from Ghostly Encounters next Sunday night. That's a good one. And that gives me a reminder. We want to tell you that we're going to be diverse with the way we do our themes here. Here's 2 examples, maybe 3. December 5th. December 5th is only 2 days in front of December 7th. And we all know what December 7th is, Pearl Harbor
Pearl
Day.
Harbor Day.
Now, my son, William McCrae, is a history teacher in Northern Alabama, and a very good one. I'm very proud of him. And we're going to have him video in with us, and we're going to talk about Pearl Harbor and the start of the Second World War. That's history, not pirate, but it's history, and that's what we want to do. December 18th, and I have my cheat sheet right here to tell me. December 12th, believe it or not, is National Gingerbread House Day. And gingerbread house, the history of gingerbread houses dates back to the 1700s. So we're thinking of something to do there.
Mom, if you're watching, December 12th is National
There you go.
Gingerbread because
Yeah.
she loves
And
making gingerbread.
December 19th is National Sangria Day.
Oh.
And I've already started talking to a bartender friend of mine who has his own business, and we're going to bring him in and talk about sangria. But because it's right before Christmas, we're also going to talk about eggnog.
Oh,
So
that's an acquired taste.
I'm going to
I
get to
love
have
eggnog.
some good drinks that night. So we've got all kinds of ideas. Christmas, the 26th, which is the Sunday after Christmas, we've already talked about not doing a live show, but we're going to do a tape show that is specifically for children.
Yep.
So we're going to be working on that. We'll tell you more about it. So we're diverse with what we're doing. There are 52 Sundays in 2022, and we've already decided that, guess what? We've already figured out 32 of the 52 days. So we got a lot of fun plans to go with.
And hopefully
Yeah.
we come back next year before our festival. So that might
Absolutely.
be 33
There
There you go. We want you to come back. Go ahead,
Hey.
Quartermaster.
Captain, we are pulling into port.
Before we pull in, all right, slow us down. I want to do one last thing. We always like to make sure that our guests feel like they were special with us, not just to be here, but we always like to give gifts.
Oh,
That's right.
nice.
So these are
Ooh.
mugs from the Old City Pirate Fest. These are mugs that we have every year, and subversively, it's more of a hint that we'd like you to be involved in Old City Pirate Fest with us, but there's a mug for each of you.
Sweet. Thank
Right?
you.
Because I did hear that you all really do like your drinking, so I'm sure you're not getting mugs.
Eggnog.
But Old City Pirate Fest is the last weekend of January, which
Saddle
ties
beer.
into the
Okay.
last weekend of the Night of
Night
Light.
of Light.
And that's why we do it on the grounds of the Colonial Quarter. We'd like to figure a way to bring you all in to be a part
We
of
would
our
love to.
festival,
That'd be great.
which then we piggyback back and forth
That'd
every
be
We
year.
would love that.
Alright.
Thank you.
So that's our time. We are pulling into port, as you said there, Quartermaster.
We are, Captain. So part of the podcast.
Part of the crew.
Always for the crew. Thank you very much for another great night. We'll see you next week.
Have a good night, folks.
Bye.